So as you may know, in Beijing, you've got the hutong. In Shanghai, however, you've got longtang.
They're the residential areas developed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and more specifically refer to the laneway that connect a group of houses. It's here you can most get in touch with that old Shanghai vibe, and that's exactly what I'm going to try and do today.
I'm currently in this beautiful longtang. It's called Cité Bogong, or Bugaoli in Chinese, and it's considered by many to be the most typical representation of a longtang. So basically the street, the alley that you see behind me here, this is the longtang. That's what the longtang refers to. And then the houses on either side of the longtang, those are called shikumen.
They're typically 2 to 3 storied structures and resemble Western terrace houses.
侬好，侬是上海人啊？
上海人。
侬会吃过吧？
没吃过吧？
没吃过，饭吃了没有？
吃了。谢谢啊。
I'm just brushing off my rusty Shanghainese that I learnt when I was studying here in Shanghai back in 2014. Hi. People looking at me from all of the shukumen. Let's move location. So this is the character for the long in longtang, and it's a bit confusing because this character can also be pronounced nong. So just keep in mind it's long, not nong.
These slowly disappearing longtang definitely represent old Shanghai. There's so much history here from the last 150 years.
And walking through these right now, I can just, if I squint my eyes, I can kind of imagine what it was like back then.
But I don't have to imagine too hard because there's actually a mall here in Shanghai that has recreated down to the finest detail what the longtang and shikumen looked like back in the day. And I just love all of these details.
You have like old school thermoses here, tap situation. You've got at least like 50 washing machines around this place.
And of course, it wouldn't be a true tourist destination without some creepily lifelike wax figures. I tell you, these things freak me out.
Even like the old air conditioning units give me vibes.
But what for me is a novelty and photo opportunity, to others who actually grew up in these longtang, this place means a whole lot more. And of course, you can't truly revisit the past without tasting some traditional food along the way. An entire section of this mall is dedicated to Shanghai snacks, many of which we'll be eating in today's video. But for us, we'll be hunting them down in their natural environment. Of course, the Shanghai longtang. It's time for our first meal of the day, and we're starting off with a bang, a Shanghai classic breakfast dish.
So Jasmine will be joining me a little bit later today. It's a Saturday morning, so she's enjoying a well-earned sleep in. It's just before 8 a.m. here, and I've come to enjoy breakfast longtang style. So this place is just a hole in the wall, and its sign is actually handwritten, so it's giving me a certain vibe.
Here they sell something called danbing, egg pancake. It reminds me a lot of a dianbing in it starts with a pancake, it's topped with egg, it's flipped over, sauce and toppings are added before it's rolled all up together.
So the craziest thing is I've actually never had a danbing before. Look at that inside, it's just like a ball of goodness. Let's try it. It's a bit less approachable than a jembing because it kind of is just like a bit of a ball at the bottom of this paper bag, whereas a jembing kind of holds its shape a little bit more. But you know, none of that will matter if it tastes amazing. It's like quite soft.
Like a dianbing, it's got that same salty and slightly sweet sauce, lots of coriander and green onion for freshness. I'd say the main difference is that pancake skin is a lot thicker, also there's no crunch inside.
I think when I see this, I'm just so reminded of a jembing that I'm expecting to bite into it and have that similar like kind of crunchy satisfaction, and it's missing that, so I feel like every bite leaves me slightly unsatisfied.
But if crunch is what you're after, I've learned on closer inspection of the menu, you can actually add cuibing, crispy pancake as a topping, or even a youtiao to add some structure to your danbing. So you can be sure I'll be experimenting with some different toppings next time so I can get my satisfaction.
But as we all know, the day doesn't truly start until we get our coffee, so let's go find that. Lucky for us, we have a lot to choose from.
I actually only just learnt this, that Shanghai is home to the most coffee shops in the world. It's estimated there are a whopping 7,800 coffee shops in this city.
So just to put this number in context, if you wanted to try a different coffee shop every single day here in Shanghai, you'd have to live here for at least 21 years to try all of them.
Every time I come to Shanghai, I avoid Starbucks and big coffee chains like the plague because there are just so many amazing independently owned coffee shops here, and pretty much anyone that you go to will serve brilliant coffee. A lot of them are also popping up in the longtang and older areas of Shanghai, an interesting example of how the new is melding with the old to create really exciting spaces in the city.
This is just the advantage of living in 2022. I can enjoy the old Shanghai, but I can also enjoy my coffee, and To make the rest of this video, I'm gonna need some coffee.
But that'll be our last contact with modern life in this video. It's time to head back into the Longtang, oh, watch out for those water drips by the way, and head to our next food stop, which actually has Longtang in the name of the restaurant. Sounds pretty legit to me.
And we're here to have one of the most quintessential Shanghai staple foods, which is the wonton. And here in Shanghai, they actually come in two categories: big wontons, 大馄饨, and small wontons, 小馄饨. This place here is called Longtang 小馄饨师傅. So you can guess this place, it specializes in small wontons. Just how small, we're about to see. I say we because Jasmine's gonna be meeting me any second now. Oh, she's here! She's here! Just speak of the devil. How are you?
I'm good.
You ready to eat some wontons?
Yeah, sure.
So this place is
Is it
specializes.
breakfast or lunch?
Well, it's 11 a.m. So I guess it's up to personal interpretation. I would call this brunch, but what would you call
it's
it?
Chinese style brunch. So.
Yeah, Chinese style brunch.
And just like every other brunch spot in Shanghai, you've got to line up a while to get it.
So we are in the wonton line, and it is taking quite some time, and that's because every single step is done by hand. It's all made fresh.
So inside there's a table where wontons are constantly being folded. When there are enough made for a serving, they're brought to the cooking station where they're submerged in boiling water for a few minutes.
At least we know our wontons will be fresh.
We finally got our bowl of freshly made wontons. Now for everyone's favorite game, look for seat in busy restaurant while your hands are scalding from the bowl of boiling soup.
Oh my goodness, look at these paintings in here. These are hilarious. Look at that painting.
There must be some like deep meaning inside, but like I just cannot tell it.
For me, I have to say it was like looking in a mirror. So I was about to go in and mix up those wontons when Jasmine was like, wait, read the sign. It says, whatever you do, don't mix up the wontons.
Okay, well that's quite strong. Let's not mix it then.
So without mixing, I carefully picked up one of those small wontons. They feature a super thin skin that almost falls apart when you touch it.
Very soft. And that taste actually takes me right back to 2014 here in Shanghai. I would often get a bowl of soup wontons.
As for breakfast?
Breakfast, or like if I was feeling sick because it's just like super warming and like salty and really nice with the samcai. I love coriander. This was one of my go-to meals back then. Do you know what the difference between 大馄饨 and 小馄饨 are, apart from the fact that one is big and one is small?
I think the biggest difference is that the thickness of the 饺子皮儿。大馄饨的皮儿跟饺子那个皮儿是差不多厚的。And for 小馄饨, it's more like soup and warm. It can warm your heart for a whole day. So
Yeah.
it's like it's really fresh and nice beginning for a new day.
Listen to the ambiance of a wonton store. Slurping. Can you feel the ambiance?
We're like sitting in the middle of the field, feeling the nature sound, you know. But
Well, that's the way it's done. I can confirm wontons taste better when you slap them.
for 大馄饨, I usually prefer 干拌.
And what's the sauce they put with it?
So they serve with the 麻酱.
I actually don't think I've had that before.
So I think you can all guess what our next stop is going to be.
So this is our destination, 耳公馄饨. It's started from 1997. Wow, so as old as me.
I always forget how young you are.
Sorry.
These look absolutely incredible, doused in that amazing sesame sauce and a little bit of chili sauce as well. And you can see that the skin of those wontons are a lot thicker than the ones we just had, those 小馄饨, and they are a lot bigger.
Unlike the small wonton place, here they actively encourage you to mix these babies up so all that thick sesame goodness can coat every little fold of those wontons.
Oh, it smells very sesame.
At least 2 big bites are needed to finish one of these.
Look at that info.
It's stuffed with pork, and the green stuff you see is jicai, shepherd's purse. It gives the wonton a slightly peppery and earthy taste.
It's amazing. Like, as you said, and you mentioned, it's a lot thicker and like heavier with that sauce, but that sauce is like so thick and smooth and creamy and delicious. It goes so well with that filling there. This is really good.
And the feeling is more flavorful and fruitful, definitely compared to 小馄饨.
Because that's bigger.
I was curious to see if I could finish it in one bite, and long story short, I could, but I've also never been more sure this painting is of me. I also couldn't resist ordering us a jiazhu pai, fried pork chop, another classic Shanghai specialty and example of the unique blend of Eastern and Western culture in this city.
Look how crispy and moist and delicious that looks.
And a strong smell of the 胡椒粉, pepper sauce.
Oh, it does. Super, super peppery.
And as you'd expect, a lovely crunch on the outside.
It reminds me of a schnitzel. Have you had a schnitzel before?
What is that?
It's like, I guess it's
It's German.
It sounds German. Oh, the pork looks really fresh.
Yeah, it's so juicy. So you get a really nice contrast between the crunch and also the moist. 10 out of 10. If you're a German living in Shanghai, or just a person who enjoys crispy things, I would suggest you get this. But I couldn't help but wonder, what would that crispy pork chop taste like dipped in that thick sesame sauce?
You can always find some creative way of eating. I've never done that before.
Yeah, like a bit of sauce. It's good. Great success. We've had our 小馄饨, we've had our 大馄饨. Which one do you prefer?
That's really a hard question. I'm Libra. I'll pass this question.
Well, I'm a Taurus, so I'm going to answer it. I like both. I want to take you to, I think, my favorite spot in Shanghai.
Where is it?
Somewhere we can get some exercise. Here is our next stop. Do you know what this is?
It says 复兴公园 here.
Have you been here? No. Yeah, it's the best. This is Fusing Park. It's so much fun. I love this park so much. There's always people like singing and dancing and like doing all these activities. Although it's looking kind of empty right now. I could not believe my eyes. This is the first time I've been to Fusing Park and it's been completely vibeless. This is very different from what I thought it was going to be.
What was it like?
So every time I've ever been here, especially on a weekend, today's a weekend, there's always people like dancing and singing, but there's like none of that happening here. And I don't know whether that's because of maybe the COVID situation in Shanghai. There was a huge lockdown.
But if you go out on the street of Shanghai or try to go out on Friday evening, it's crazily crowded.
So you're telling me that all the elderly people that used to come here to do their dancing, they're now going to the club to dance. Is that what's happening?
I think so. Yeah, that's how Chinese people like getting younger and healthier all the time.
Culture is evolving. No more parks. It's just club. Hardcore dubstep.
Alcohol instead of tea. 早洗晚 早上 coffee 晚上 alcohol.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see the culture, you know, evolving in such a way. But all jokes aside, I was so afraid that this slice of Shanghai I love so much had disappeared for good. So I decided to go back the next morning to see if it would be the same. I'm here at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, which I would think is like prime going to the park time. It's not interfering with any lunch or breakfast hours. So let's see, I'm a bit nervous. You can hear it. The vibe is back. Yay! People are dancing! Okay, I can officially relax knowing that my favorite place in Shanghai is still here. Dance! Okay. I think I'm gonna go dance with this guy. When I imagine the community feel of old Shanghai, this is probably the closest I'm gonna get. People getting together to sing and dance, not a smartphone in sight, and in my opinion, there's nowhere else you can be so quickly welcomed into a new community, and that's why this is my favorite place in Shanghai. Anyway, back to yesterday, where Jasmine and I are heading to our last food stop of the day. It's a local Shanghainese restaurant hidden in the back of a longtang. A lot of people in the reviews that I've read online say that this is like the real taste of old Shanghai. So it's located here in a longtang. We're gonna be tasting old Shanghai. I can't think of a better way to finish off this video. Let's see what they recommend. This place looks really cute. You go through this like small little door here. How does it look like inside? Oh. Not what I expected. I very rarely come across a pink restaurant, but whenever I do, I savor it. Let's just take a minute to appreciate these interiors. Loving it. Here they serve typical Shanghainese food, also known as benbang cai. Benbang cai, yeah. Benbang cai. Benbang cai. Sometimes when I speak in Chinese, my head follows the tone.
Every foreigner does it.
Benbang cai refers to Shanghai home-style cooking. Dishes feature a relatively large amount of oil and soy sauce, as well as a distinctive sweetness thanks to the addition of sugar too. The menu here is like absolutely massive. It's like 5 or 6 pages, and it also has the English translations of everything, which sometimes isn't the best thing, because I'll look at the English translation and I'll be like, oh, I don't really want bacon soup with winter melon, for example. So it kind of dissuades me from getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things. So what I think I'm just gonna do is ask the boss here for 2 of his recommendations, and because I'm sure he'll know better than either of us what the good thing is.
2道菜最老上海的，那就吃个油爆虾上司。
可以。还有什么？
还有糖醋排条。 还有清蒸黄鱼，还有鸡汤，多了太多了。
对，那就两道吧。
I don't know what either of those are, but we're gonna find out.
Not long after, our first dish arrived. This one here is the 清炒鳝丝, translation yellow eel stir fry.
然后这道就是非常经典的响油鳝丝，就你可以看到很多油，然后最后一步应该是有浇上热油和葱。
I like the flavor. Very like rich, salty, a slightly sweet flavor.
这个很下饭。You can eat a lot of fries with it.
Yeah. 可以来一碗米饭吗？
可以。
Few moments later.
And Jasmine's absolutely right. Because that eel is super full of flavor, pairing it with the rice enables you to eat more and enjoy the flavor without being overwhelmed by it. Next dish to arrive are the 油爆虾, fried prawns. To the naked eye, it may look a bit on the plain side, but let me tell you, the taste is absolutely out of this world.
Do I eat the whole thing or do I take off the head?
You can have the shell with you, but like you better take the head off.
Okay.
我们吃这种虾可以用手，也可以不用手。
Okay, I don't need telling twice.
Wow, 好好吃。
真的好吃，真的好吃。
Those shrimps are so flavorful and like juicy, and that it bursts in your mouth, and the flavor from like slight oily taste, but also sweetness. I would say both these dishes do have that signature Shanghai sweetness.
I think this is one of the best, the best 油爆虾 I've ever had.
Really, it's delicious. I think I like having it with the shell on it because it gives it even more flavor.
油爆虾是上海传出来的，对吧？
It's funny because I lived in Shanghai for a year back in 2014, but either of these dishes I've never had or heard of before.
Really?
Yeah. I think the closest I ever got to like Shanghai food was, you know, xiaolongbao or shenzhenbao or wontons, but this kind of like home style cooking. This is the kind of food that I have to say I haven't really dived too heavily into before. It's really, really good. I'm glad we did it like this because if I would have come here and looked at the menu, I don't think I would have gone for either of these dishes. Like on first sight, that looks kind of plain. It just looks like a plate of deep fried prawns, but the taste is absolutely phenomenal. And this here, you know, I don't know if my first instinct would be to go for a plate of eel. I'd probably go for the sweet and sour, you know, ribs. That's also quite popular here in Shanghai.
Have you asked the price for it?
No, I just, he may have just gotten me the most expensive things on the
I'm
menu.
really curious about the price. 清炒鳝丝是75块钱。
Yep. 有爆虾. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
75.
也是75。
Okay, so it is more on the expensive side because I guess we've had shrimp and we've had eel.
So I
75
think they
each.
can totally serve for like at least 3 person.
Yeah. This is quite a big serving. Granted, smaller than Dongbei's serving, but
Okay, you're used to be a Dongbei right now.
oh yeah, now I'm like, look how small this serving is.
Everything about this was totally what I was hoping to get out of today. Definitely feeling connected to old Shanghai right now and would really, really recommend this place.
So that brings us to the end of our Longtang food adventure.
Yay.
Can't believe how much food I ate today, but it was great to feel like I got in touch a little bit with the old Shanghai. It's funny because, you know, there's the old and the new, and sometimes you grieve for the past that you never got to experience, but you have to remind yourself that we're in this amazing phase of Shanghai right now. I think Shanghai's an interesting city for that reason. You can get in touch with like bits of the past and get those vibes here and there of old Shanghai, but you can also, you know, see your modern skyscrapers.
I really
and
like the contrast here. That's one of the reasons I really love this city.
I was walking along the bund taking this footage when I came across the most beautiful proposal setup accompanied by a very nervous looking lad.
So I asked if she's arriving anytime soon and he said within the next 20 minutes. So I think I'm just gonna hang around here and see what happens because, oh, I love me some love. And what a beautiful evening for a proposal. I wish this guy luck.
But not a minute later, a security guard started approaching.
No, security guard, go away, you're ruining a moment. They've been here for about 5 minutes and I'm starting to get worried because she should be arriving soon.
It was eventually decided the proposal was allowed to take place, but only at a designated proposal spot about 500 meters down the bund. So it was all hands on deck, including mine, to rush these decorations to a new spot. Understandably, he was becoming more and more nervous, but before long we were all set up again, ready to go, and I had offered my services as the official proposal videographer.
马上要到了，是什么感觉？
有点紧张。
加油! So we've spotted her, she's in the distance. She's currently walking this way, not knowing that her life is about to change. I think she may have known this was coming. She is actually wearing a veil.
And not just any veil, it lit up and everything. At this stage, I was pretty confident that there would be a happy ending to this love story.
我做好了准备，带给你这一生的承诺和一辈子的守护和爱。 哪怕白发苍苍，我也会依然的爱你，保护你。今天在大家的见证下，我想问你一句，你愿意嫁给我吗？
我愿意。
Oh. 恭喜恭喜恭喜！
谢谢大家。
Well, I can't think of a better ending to this day in Shanghai. My heart is so full right now. I hope it's the same for you guys. Until next time, goodbye from Shanghai. Oh, I love love.